So now we're going to talk about integers. Let's talk about integers a little bit. And when you think about integers, what you'll notice here is that you see this subset of whole numbers here. And we know from our last discussion that whole numbers are positive numbers, they're non-negative numbers. They begin with 0 and they go all the way up into infinity. So they're non-negative, they don't have a fraction as a part of them. Well, whole numbers are a subset or a subcategory of integers. So integers as well, they are numbers that do not have a fraction, but they do include 0. And as I mentioned, whole numbers are a subset of integers, but integers also have negative numbers as a part of them. So a way to think about it, let's say if you're thinking about, integers and what you might express in integers, let's say you have a diver or a submarine or something that's going to dive underwater so many feet. Now, I know you could express that in a fraction, but we'll just say, for the sake of argument, you're going to go so many feet. And so, integers then would be able to look and say, hey, how many feet are negative amounts? So, you can look at a negative amount. So if I'm going underwater or if I'm doing something negative, I want to express that as something that's not a fraction. So you might use an integer to express it. You went 10 feet underwater or negative 10 feet from where you started. So that's one way to look at it, negative 1 foot, if you will. And then also, obviously, you have the positive part of integers. So let's say you were a hiker, you were going up a mountain or something like that, and you had to go up so many feet. You could express that in integers. So integers are a way of looking at numbers that are not fractions. They have whole numbers as a part of them, but they do also include negative numbers as well. So when you think about it, if you were looking at, let's say, at a computer program and you wanted to write something, let's say to express the score in a basketball game, well, you're obviously going to also often use numbers a lot in programming or just in general types of things. So when you think about it, integers are often used and expressed in programming as an int. You'll see it expressed as an int. You'll see int, usually in all small case letters, int. And you can assign a variable or a number to it. So let's say you wanted to express something that was not a fraction as an integer. Let's say the score in a basketball game. Let's say someone scored 3 points or they scored 2 points. Well, you take that information, that number that's not a fraction, and you store it in an int as an integer. So integers in computer science are ways to express and to hold numbers that are not fractions, that are not decimals, and they could be either negative or positive, but you can use them in a way as to express things that are not fractions and are not decimals.